This is Gordon Miller with American Salon, and I am in Chicago at Sassoon Academy with lead instructor Travis Smith, and you're going to do 2 haircuts for us today.
Somehow, some way, yeah.
So, okay. Travis is one of my favorite haircutters, and of course, love Sassoon. It's the gold standard in education globally. So again, we're really excited to be here. You've got 2 models. I'm going to step out of the way. We encourage you to ask questions. We'll be feeding questions and comments over to Travis, and he'll be filling you in on all the details behind both these beautiful cuts.
Cool, sounds good.
Thank you.
So I have 2 cuts. One is already pretty much done, and through basically just for the essence of time, I started this cut, and I wanted to do 2 graduated bobs. And rather than do the typical triangular look, which I think we've seen done quite a bit, I want to mix it up a little bit. And one of the shapes that I feel like people are very scared to cut is more of a round shape. And a round shape is going to be short to the front, long to the back. And really when you do that, you're going to put a lot more essence on the cheekbones and the jawline and all that. So the cut I did on Beato right now, which amazing color by Marshall, is we worked a very slim graduation to the back. And haircutters, hairdressers, in general, we have kind of certain things that we always do with graduation, maybe like a certain sectioning pattern. That's just not really copy haircuts, we have techniques. So I worked more of a vertical sectioning to really slim down the head shape. So the graduation is not going to be a really lumpy, kind of heavy graduated bob. And then we worked a little bit of a round line up here, which I'm going to refine once it's dry. And then what's really fun is right in through the top, I worked a nice little bit of layering and then connected all the front panels right in through here, which is really going to open up the face and create kind of a cool texture. And then this panel is going to kind of fall over it. So I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to get started. So we're going to go into the center back, and we'll be working vertical diagonal sections. So you can kind of see I already have the previous guy right through there. So when I create graduation vertically, what creates the amount of weight is 2 things. It's where I comb hair, which is the over direction of the haircut, and it's also the finger angle. So how far I keep the fingertips or the knuckles away from the top of the head. So right now, since I don't really want a crazy heavy shape, I'm only really over directing to the previous. Bringing it right through here. And I'll just cut past my second knuckle just for the fear of maybe cutting my finger open. But just for the sake of it, I really want to keep that line really consistent. So this kind of graduation, when I'm working something a bit slimmer, this is not really going to set you up for a traditional bob where it's very short to long. They're more kind of leaner of a shape you do through here. This area is going to go away. So the fact that I'm doing a round shape, all this kind of supports that idea. But if I really want to make sure that this was intact, I'd want to keep this hair farther away from the ear. So everything is just a traveling guide. I think one of the things that really helps me be successful with cutting is really keeping a clean area. So when I hold the comb quite a bit lower than most people do. It's one of the first things I really have my students do. That's kind of takes them a little bit out of their comfort zone, because you get a lot more control, especially if you have kind of bigger fingertips like I do. So I'm just going to go through and cross-check. So when I cross-check my work, I really shouldn't see too much to cut. And if I did, then I need to go back and take a look at it again. And I don't think you have to really cross-check every section. For me, I kind of have little key points or almost little like stop zones, little red lights where I want to kind of check the work before I move on. Just kind of checking the balance. I feel pretty good about it. And if I get away in the camera, just yell at me over there, Edgar.
You're okay, we can see.
Okay, cool. All right, so that's complete. So now we're gonna move up the head. And some of the inspiration from this cut was from a haircut done by Martin Duff, who's a director at Sassoons. And he did this haircut on the ABCs, which was graduation layers. And then some of the inspiration is from our new collection, Poetica. So the layering on top, inspired by Silvia Salerno's sectioning pattern. So as they move up the head, the client's head position is really important, so making sure that the head's down. And the reason for that is because when you graduate hair, you're pulling the hair away from the head. So if you have the head down, it's going to give you much more of a tendency to keep that graduation being built. Whereas if you have the head up, well, bad things can really happen. So just going right through here, really making sure I have the fingertips pulled back. And we'll just continue that graduation internally to the top. Really just using the same over direction, same sectioning pattern. So the cross check's going to be the same way as well. Now, if you're really worried about keeping this length right through here, a lot of it's your body position. So the more that your body is off to the side by the ear, you kind of get the little hole right there. It's usually your body position because you kind of see hair from this perspective. But if you move back, you really see the fact that it's actually going to be curving up. That goes for like a line or any kind of graduation. So your body position always really supports the shape. So from here, I'm actually going to switch to working an outline right now. And the reason why I'm going to work an outline is because I want to keep the outline intact. So if I cut a line right now at the bottom, which is the strongest technique we do at Sassoons, we call that A. It's going to almost, well, it's A, going to give a lot of strength to the hair and show off the cheekbones rather. But at the same time, it's almost going to act like a stop sign. So I won't graduate the hair too short. It's always nice being on video with blue hair and a white robe, letting it down. No pressure. Cool. Just gonna have your head up just a little bit. So when you work a line, the client's head position is very, very, very important. The client's chin's down. You really are kind of playing a guessing game, to be honest with you. It's one of the first things we really go over in a work session. So when I teach at Sassoons, we do lectures, we do demonstrations, and then you guys cut hair, which is obviously the funnest part of it. And one of the things we talk about is the client body position. And a lot of times, because our clients are so kind of, I guess, into their cell phone, they're digitized, that a lot of times everybody's head's just down. And that really doesn't give you much of a fighting chance to get it right. So I'm working a curved shape, working upward. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to comb the hair using quite a bit of tension. And I'm using the comb almost as a way to kind of trace the line. So we do have a little bit of an ear there. So I'm just going to really lighten up on the tension. So right now, it may look like I have a little extra. Once we blow dry that, we may have a little extra, but I definitely don't want to have a hole right there, which is kind of the main game plan of that. So I'm going to bring down all the sections to that point. Still cutting the same shape. Now the hair behind the ear, I feel like I get a little bit more freedom. Minus the earring that's getting caught with the hair. And so right here I can use just a little bit more tension because that hair is not really gonna fall over the ear. And then when I bring this hair over, we're really just notching it up. So the model's head position is gonna be more chin up, and then we're just gonna continue that line upward to the front. And the shape that I'm cutting, I feel like most hairdressers like run away from it immediately. The thing is, they maybe think of like a bad bowl cut or like a Corey Feldman bowl cut from the 80s, a bad haircut from their childhood. But really, you can work a nice round shape and do it much more modernly. So far, we have the graduation back here, and then we have a line right to the front. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna join the graduation from the front and then bring it all the way back. So I'm actually gonna use a lot more over direction now. Of course, we somehow have really creepy gothic music playing in the background. It's Chelsea Wolfe, which is one of my girlfriend's favorites, so I did it for you, Sarah. So, you can see how the graduation is going to continue to the front. Now we're just going to bring this hair straight to the back. Now I don't really want to cut anything too far above the parietal ridge because we are going to be doing a little bit of a fun disconnection through there. And that's the thing with disconnection is you don't want to connect it in. Bring all this hair to one stationary guide. And that's another thing is over direction is something that if you've been cutting hair for a while, you kind of get stuck in your ways with it. Like you have your go-to haircuts, you kind of pull everything almost to like muscle memory. But really, if you think about it, I went from barely any over direction whatsoever, hugging the back of the head, and then all of a sudden I'm gonna have a ton of over direction to preserve length. So really, it's all about what you want to see within the haircut. I was gonna preach there's no really right or wrong. At the end of the day, you're gonna make somebody look better or not. So hopefully I make her look a lot better. I'm sure Kim looked quite pretty. So the top now, just gonna get her sectioned off. Because I have kind of a curved section right through here. How are we doing, Gordon? We doing all right?
You're doing good.
Okay. So we're gonna give her a shorter verse today, which should be fun to see as well. So if you look at it, right through here, you can see a little bit of layer, and that's be the guide for what we cut through here. So there's gonna be a little bit of a curved section right in through the top. So this part, it's really imperative that you comb this back. We're just gonna keep this out of the way for now. We're gonna do the same thing over here. Now layering this short, especially with a round shape, can be very intimidating. It's loosely inspired from a haircut called the Shape, which is actually a much longer haircut. So the shape itself, what we're looking at is the top is going to be working with the rounds of the head. So it's slowly going to get longer, but the actual shape itself is going to work from here to here to here to here to here. And the key point of that is by lifting this hair up, you keep this hair down at the bottom. So what I'm going to do first is just get a guide right down the middle. So I'm actually going to start off more vertically, and then I'm going to switch to horizontal sections because I really want to use the curve of my fingertips to create the shape. So you can see I'm bringing this hair straight up and I'm just cutting right through there. And when I use my scissors, if you notice, I cut just very slowly, little bits at a time. I'm not just like 1, 2. Because the more you kind of chomp with your scissors, the more of a big old blunt corner you're going to put on the hair. And most hair looks better when everything's quite curved, of course, unless you're cutting a square. So I'll do one more section, and then I'm going to switch hand positions. And the thing is, when people cut fringe, everybody's immediately like, I'm going to hold the hair down and then I'm going to basically point cut it. And at the end of the day, if you want to add more texture, layering the fringe is always a pretty dumb move unless the hair is quite fine. So we have a nice guide in through the top. And now I'm going to switch my hand position. So I'm going to take sections that are angled backwards. I'll be right here. Is that better for you?
Yep. Yeah.
We knew this was going to happen. Okay. So you can see we have the guide right through here. So the center of it's going to be a little bit more square. And then as I go through the sides, it's going to curve just slightly. And now the key thing is elevating this hair up so that I'm not really going to be cutting the bottom too much. So my sections are going to be over directed forward. So the funny thing is, hair cutting a lot of the time I think we make a lot more complicated than it is. And Sassoons, the way that we teach people, the techniques and the idea of it is actually pretty simple. Executing it and trying to figure out how everything kind of fits together, that's a little bit more challenging. But if you really think about it, the shape I cut so far, you have some grab that pushes forward, a line that opens up the face, and then some layers that will be pushing back. Okay. So we're gonna have the last section. So still over directing forward. I am incorporating the hair I cut from the back and over directing it forward. So anything that really is going to reach, we're all going to bring that forward to a traveling guide. So you can see it really just adds a lot of softness around the face. Now I'm just going to go through and cross-check this panel. So at this, since I held everything higher, I'm going to hold the hair vertically and then I'm just going to lift it up and bring it up towards the top. So there shouldn't be really much hair to cut towards the bottom. And last section. Or bring this above the parietal ridge. You can kind of see it adds kind of a different dimension to it. So I have two more things I'm going to do.
Right in 20.
Perfect. Timekeeping is always hard, whether you're a teacher or you're behind the chair, it never stops. So I'm going to use a little bit more tension at the bottom, and now I'm just going to work, and I know, I'm going to work more of a square line on here, and I know by putting the tension it's going to have the hair jump a little bit. I'm kind of counting on that. Because really at the end of the day, once I'm done with it, the look is going to be a bit softer. Sometimes when you cut hair, you have to really think about the end result and not so much the immediate. Cool. So now, the last part of it is we're going to join in those top panels into the front, and then we're going to have her blow dry. just going to bring the hair from the back of the head. And I'm just going to connect this in. I'm only doing this right around the parietal ridge. Everything else is going to fall down. So still using a lot of the tension to the bottom. So if you bring these sections up, you can see how it works with the shape of the head working back, and then you have this hair that is going to fall right over it, which is going to kind of create more of a double fringe. So the 2 times I've cut her hair when she walked in here, her hair wasn't like flat iron to death, to be honest with you. It was more just kind of air dried and just very textured. So I think that's gonna kind of go along with how she really wears her hair. All right, so that would be model number 1. Thank you, Bieta. Marshall's gonna come back and talk about the color as well as soon as she's dried. So Josie, I'll go ahead and give her over to you. All right, let me just get the blue hair so it doesn't mix with the blonde hair. That would be catastrophic. All right, come on over here.
So let's remind everybody, because we forget to do this sometimes, people join us.
Yeah.
So Travis Smith, lead instructor at Sassoon Chicago. We're Sassoon Academy. Tell people a little bit about, as you're doing this, talk a little bit about Sassoon, because I know people love to hear it.
Sure. So I'll do a quick little recap. I'll cut and I'll chit chat a little bit about that. So this haircut, I wanted to do something not round. I wanted to do something much heavier, kind of classic graduation, more of a square shape. So we just came out with the new collection, and I was definitely really inspired by the look. So if you come closer here, the haircut started off with a really heavy horizontal graduation in through the bottom. So I took panels and just really worked it, and bringing the hair backwards, which kind of creates a little bit more heaviness behind the ear. And then we kind of just carved out the bottom. And then after that panel, I brought this hair and I brought it straight down. This is basically right after Mark Hayes' haircut you cut. And I brought all the elevation really low. It's still graduating it in, but this hair is actually cut about maybe like a finger length longer than the rest of it. So there is a level of disconnection. So all these sections were really brought down and brought down and then brought down, and then I followed through all the way to the front, so everything was brought down quite square. And then the last few panels towards the top, I elevated the hair just slightly in through here, which is just going to kind of tuck the hair in and give it a little bit more of a graduated edge. So the undercut, which obviously is something that's been very popular lately, it's not just shaved off to the bottom, like, or even like really kind of cropped off like a box bob. The undercut creates more of a texture and actually gives the hair a little bit more volume. So what I'm going to be doing right now is I'm going to be softening the haircut a little bit, and I'm just going to work a quick little fringe in. I'm just going to dust off the blue off the scissors real quick. So I work for Sassoon Academy, obviously, and I've been with Sassoons now for almost 6 years. I've been a hairdresser for 12. I joined Sassoons really after I saw a hair show live, and that was kind of it for me, which is funny because where I worked before, which was for Robert Cromeans, I saw a hair show and that's what drove me to that. So apparently that's the key to get my attention. And so I went through an apprenticeship program in Los Angeles for about 18 months after being a hairdresser for 6 years. And kind of climbed my way up out of that, and then went to the academy because I always really wanted to be a teacher. And I started teaching cosmetology in Los Angeles with a lot of incredible people. I'm very lucky. I've worked with tons of people throughout my career. And I fell in love with teaching as soon as I started teaching advanced classes. Because at the start of the class, we ask you, why are you here? What do you feel like your biggest issues are? What are your challenges when you cut hair? And every single week I teach people, I hear the same things that I was thinking in my head. And then I've been in Chicago for about 2 years now, a little bit over 2 years. And I came to Chicago basically on a whim, the fact that they kept sending people here because there wasn't a teacher at the time. And I really fell in love with the city. So what I'm doing right through here is I'm holding the hair really low, and I'm just point cutting into all the length, and I'm point cutting just very lightly and straight into the hair shaft. And so the idea of the haircut is, I doubt she's really gonna wear the hair like this. I wanna be able to give the hair kind of a three-dimensional feel to it. But yeah, I packed up my bags and I moved here, and I head up this academy. We have 2 other teachers that we're really trying to be trained at the moment for the next year or 2. It's been amazing. The city's great. Obviously, I met you, Gordon, so it can't be all that bad, yeah? And the thing is, sometimes with point cutting, it's not, you don't have to go all rapid fire with it. Sometimes the hair doesn't really need that. That's a huge comfort thing I've noticed when people come take classes too, is they want to start point cutting immediately. And I'm like, you already know how to do that. So when you come here, it's really about stepping out of a comfort zone. And it's a weird thing too, because when somebody goes through your haircut, somebody checks your haircut, it's an odd feeling. It's something maybe a lot of people haven't felt for quite some time. It assumes, we're very adamant about our training. We all kind of consider ourselves students to the day we die. So I still train. I get my haircuts combed through by creative directors. I know the feeling. But that's honestly what makes you better. And really what we focus on is answering questions you've always wanted to know about haircuts. You get really getting into the core fundamentals of cutting hair. So I teach a couple different classes here. The main one I teach a lot is ABC Level 1, Level 2. And what we do is it's either 3 or 5 days. We do theory, hands-on, lecturing. Every once in a while we'll watch DVD, we go through some of the book. But it kind of applies for all different learners, because to be honest, like I'm one of those hairdressers, like I want to watch a DVD, I want to try it out on somebody, hopefully I get it right. I try it multiple times, I have to do a head sheet. So I think everybody, as hairdressers, we're all kind of a bit nutty. So I think, there's a way for everybody to learn when you come here. So as I'm going through this, you can see where the hair was held. One thing that helps me with a square shape when I was cutting this is keeping the fingertips away from the head. The moment that the fingertips are held against the skin, that's where things can have a tendency to start rounding up. I really challenge myself by doing a square shape on a video right now. Square is the hardest technique to cut, because you can't have kind of square. Square is either square, and if it's not square, it's not square. Kind of see at the end of it that it really has more of kind of a three-dimensional look. Really nice, beautiful balance of the cheekbones. So now I'm going to work a fringe. And as I was combing through her hair, I wanted to give her a little bit of a deeper fringe. So I'm going to do more of a traditional way of cutting a fringe. I'm not going to be doing a double fringe or anything like that. So when I work a fringe, I want to lean the head back. She has a bit of a growth pattern in through the front. So all I'm going to do is rest the hair into the wide teeth of the comb. And then as I cut, I work the scissors backwards. So as I actually close the blades, I push the scissors back, and that helps me get a really nice clean cut when I cut dry. So these are actually pretty new scissors. I got them a couple weeks ago. These are our new rose gold wings. I've been using wings now for about probably 4 years. And one of my favorites. So my body position is going to be standing in front when I work a line. I think the key is really just kind of combing the hair back and forth. I'm using the wide teeth of the comb, not really combing the hair down, but just holding it in place. So I wish I had more to talk about this second, but with fringe, I really wanted to just zone in and get the line cut in. Gordon, do we have any questions?
Not questions so much as comments. You've got all kinds of great comments. You've got even people from Italy and Kuwait and all over the country. You're getting huge compliments.
Wow.
And also on the color. Marshall's getting some great compliments on the hair color. People love it.
As he should, right?
And a request that we do a lot more Sassoon videos like this.
Awesome.
And we should say we'll have Tracy Sakasitz here with us in January for
Absolutely.
Sassoon.
I was actually watching her live this morning, funny enough. She was doing a men's course in New York, so it's weird. It's so great, but just it's weird that we're so connected in like that.
Would you, for those who may not know, would you explain who Tracy is?
Yeah, Tracy is our U.S. creative director, or sorry, North American creative director. So she's been with Sassoons for quite some time, and she oversees kind of everything in North America, mostly on the creative end. But yeah, she's a massive mentor to all of us. So as far as like working balance and symmetry, and it's a little bit hard right now because obviously I'm cutting in front of a camera or a phone, which is a camera. But you have to take a step back from your work when you cut hair. You have a mirror in front of you. But a lot of times you get so close because you're so worried about what's going on in your hands that you actually have to see the balance up front.
I do have to repeat. Someone said Vidal would be proud, and we've got somebody else who's going to do this cut on their client tonight. So you've inspired someone.
That's awesome. Cheap plug, but if you really want to see the original version of this, pick up the new Academy collection. And there's two collections actually within it. There's a salon collection and an Academy collection as well together. And Mark does this haircut really, really. Obviously it's Mark, so it's incredible, but I was very inspired by it.
So we do have a question, which is from Mario Vallatera, and he's asking...
What's up, Mario?
Oh, you know Mario. So
we all know Mario. Mario's a Sassoon fanatic.
So he would like to know, why are you cutting her fringe in one section?
Two reasons. One, because the cowlick in the front, I didn't want to kind of obey just by that. I wanted to bring the rest of the hair in. And two, the essence of time. Lean your head back. Take a step back. Cool. I have to admit this because it's kind of funny. Because I cut blue hair, I think there was some blue on my scissors. So you have like a Marilyn Manson line on your forehead. It's cool.
There is.
It was totally on purpose. When you cut hair in front of people all the time as a job, you kind of like just learn you have to really roll with it every week. So as we're finishing up, Marshall, are you here?
Yeah.
Why don't you come over and tell us about what you do with the color?
Hello, everybody. I'm Marshall. I work at Sassoon here in Chicago for the Academy and the salon. With Taylor's hair today, we did a classic herringbone highlight technique. Lucky enough, I was able to have Taylor come in with virgin hair, which does not happen very often. But because of that, we were able to highlight using a combination of tint and bleach. So going in at an angle, we started with our 1069, which is a Wella color with 40 volume. And then sandwiched between the bleach was 869 Illumina, which is also Wella with 30 volume. And when highlighting somebody with a fringe, you want to be mindful that this hair is all going to be directed forward, so you want to make sure that these pieces right here, you're ending with your lightest in your formula. In this instance, it was a powder lightener, which is Blondor with 20 volume. And I chose cooler tones because she does have a pretty neutral base color, and we wanted to be able to grow out looking very natural, so I did fine weaves within every packet. And I was very happy.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. Awesome. Hold on. You can have it stand up real quick. And then my Instagram is Travis W. Smith. So I post my work every week. I'll be taking some pictures of these guys later. So if you want to see kind of a closer look at the finished result, add me and visit me. Cool. Take a look at the back too.
Very nice.
Awesome. And then we'll have our model come up. Gieta. I'll finish you up real quick. Are we okay in time?
We are.
We're good on time.
Do you want me to go over color real quick?
Yeah, why not?
So, with Beata's hair here, we treated her hair like a virgin bleaching tone. So she came in with some previous color on her ends. So I went in first and pre-lightened the mids. Once those were about to a pale yellow, I went in and lightened her roots. So we got her to a nice level 10 even throughout. And then her toner is Wella's Special Mix, 0 Stroke 2.8 with Pastel Developer. And we did that roots to ends. We let that sit for 25 minutes and we got this really beautiful aquamarine. And I'm really happy with the outcome. It's very nice. And we didn't have to do any sort of color enhancer or rinse over. This is just Wella's permanent hair color.
It's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, and it should last very well. And the fun thing about doing these gem tones is that they do end up washing to a more pastel, which is also very much on trend right now.
Beautiful.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Well done.
Thank you, Beata.
Thank you.
All right, so I have my technique in. I'm gonna wrap this day up just with a little bit of refinement. So the dry part of a relationship is really where we're looking at the shape we created and we're just enhancing it. So with haircutting, if you think about it, and I'm gonna steal this from you, DJ, sorry if you're watching, but haircutting, the wet part of a haircut is really if you're building a house. And we blow dry it, which is definitely, not always the funnest thing to do. And then the dry part of a relationship is really where you kind of get to put all the decor and all the detail into it. But you have to have that foundation at first, really, before you do all that. So as my old director used to say, it's technique, blow dry, refine. Is really the key to a Sassoon haircut. And so with graduation, what you really want to look at is a silhouette. And that's why some people either really love or you hate graduation, because if you see a hole in it or a bump in the road, usually something happened within your technique. But if you nail it, the silhouette should be pretty sleek to the head. So just kind of looking for any sort of corner that might have been cut within it. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the line a little bit more. Once you go with dry cutting, as you cut, bring the scissors back. If you're not used to cutting on skin, I don't know, maybe practice on a loved one if they have hairy arms. But the best way to do it is just to do it, really. So you kind of see everything kind of works upward. And then we'll do the same thing over here. The hair's dry, we're just gonna refine this again. Now the little curve that's kind of like almost like a signature of Sassoon, it actually, what it does is it really has kind of almost like a center point And what that does is most of the time it really narrows down the neck. So it looks really, really nice on most necks, unless it's like absurdly skinny at top. And then we're just gonna, as soon as I just clean up this neckline, we're gonna go to the top. And then, can somebody grab a little bit of color touch in like a few minutes? Who would have thought with blue? All right, so let's work into the top. Carving this out with tips of the scissors.
So Travis, while you're doing that, tell us a little bit about the courses that people can take at Sassoon.
We offer a variety of courses. Here in Chicago, we do ABC level 1 and 2, and then we do Salon Creative, which I teach as well. And Salon Creative is a great class to take because we're not just doing something that's going to be really bonkers that you know, might be really fun creatively, but you may not do that much in the salon. So Salon Creative is already maybe after you've taken an ABC course and you just need something different, like you're just in a complete rut. We also do ABC Color here as well. Marshall teaches quite a bit of that. And then in Santa Monica, which is really our hub, we do a variety of different classes. We do everything from foiling class, styling. We do a brand new educator course, which is incredible. You know, everybody wants to teach nowadays, so if you want to have a little bit of that Sassoon method behind it, it's a great class to take. So just refining the shape in through here, using the tips of the scissors. And really just bringing the hair out to its natural place right there, and just carving right around the head. So you really see more of the cheekbones. Giving a little bit of attention to help kind of graduate the edges into there. About 2 more minutes, Gordon. Is that okay?
You're good.
Awesome. So at the top, there's a couple different ways you can do this. Prepare your client, so lean your head back, close your eyes real quick. So we're gonna bring all this hair together, and then I'm just gonna point cut straight into it. So it's gonna combine the 2 different fringes together. Once again, doing a haircut like this, I'm not really expecting the hair to be sleeked down as much as I want it to be kind of worn, a little bit more kind of tousled and free, which I think is, you know, way more current if you really look at how short hair has been worn. And then I'm just gonna go through it the rest of it. Obviously, we'll keep our disconnection out of the way. I'm just gonna add a little bit of texture to the rest. So when I point cut, if I want to just kind of soften it, I'm going to point cut straight into the hair shaft. If I'm looking for it to kind of really texturize it, I would want to work a little bit more on an angle.
So a lot of people are intimidated by Sassoon. So
Yes.
for somebody who's watching, what would you say to that person?
Well, first of all, I'd say I've been there. And I still have my moments. Every once in a while, I'll come back to LA when we do a master class, and I'm still, every once in a while, I'm just kind of in awe of it still. Here, you know, especially I could say confidently within myself that I really try to create a fun environment. And when you do take a class with us, it's really your time. We try to have a really nice, fun environment. You get to take 2 to 3 hours of haircut, and you're not getting a grade sheet. You're really not. We're here just to make you, whatever you have already in your arsenal, we want to add on to it. We want to make you even better. So, I guess that kind of answered the question. I would just say, you know, if you really want to take it and you're scared maybe just because it's more of a serious tone, don't. Everybody I work with is super, super nice. And I'm not just saying that either. But a lot of great people all throughout all of our academies. Then we'll just work through the back. So if I'm gonna add a little bit of texture to the front, I want to kind of keep the feel relatively pretty consistent. And that's, to be honest with you, why I selfishly wanted to do 2 models today. I wanted to have something a bit heavier and very more of a classic Sassoon style. And then I wanted to do something a little bit more avant-garde, a little bit freer.
And for those who maybe, I mean, I think a lot of folks wonder sometimes when they see Sassoon in its more pure form, like how they're going to translate that into the salon. So can you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the bottom line with that is that when you take a Sassoon course, what we don't want is we're not going to be like, all right, well, here's your long layer cut, here's your bob, and here's your pixie, and thank you very much, we'll take your money. What we really want to do is to give you the tools to be able to create whatever you want. And that, I think, is the main essence if you take a Sassoon class, is the idea of suitability. So you look at somebody, you look at their bone structure, their style, their lifestyle, what they do, texture, density, their growth patterns, their hairlines, and that's what really helps you come up with a look. And so definitely when you come with us, you take a course with us, you know, we work on a wide variety of models, all age groups, different ethnicities, men, women, everything. So you kind of get a taste of everything.
And you work always on live models at the Academy, correct?
Yes. Cool. I hope you guys like it. I think we're about ready to wrap up. All right, I'll have you stand up and we'll take off the robe. I know you have a shirt on, so that's always good. Alright. I'm just gonna give it a little bit of hairspray too, just to kind of bring the texture out. So, Aaron Johnson out there, I know you're in Tokyo, and I wanted to do a layered bob just to give you a little bit of shit, since that's all you do. Little challenge to you, buddy. I miss you. I hope you're having a good time out there in Hairbrain. Cool. And Taylor, I'll have you come up too. So yeah, those are my finished looks today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Travis W. Smith on Instagram. And Marshall, what's your Instagram?
ML Violante Jr. You could just find me tagged in Travis's photo.
Right? So thank you guys so much for having us. If you have any questions about Academy courses, just give us a call over at Santa Monica. We'd love to hear from you. So Gordon, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you both. And thank you guys for watching. Again, this is Gordon Miller. I'm a publisher of American Salon. We're here at Sassoon Academy, Chicago. We just love the Sassoon folks. We love the education you guys bring to the industry. This is pretty much the gold standard in education. So I really encourage everybody to check this out. Go to Sassoon.com.
Sassoon.com or Sassoon-academy.com.
And you'll get access to the schedules and how to contact folks. And again, we're thrilled to be here. We have a lot more Facebook Lives coming up. We've got Nina Kovner in Passion Square this Wednesday. We've got Sally Rogerson, a former Sassoon education director and one of our favorites. She'll be here on Thursday. We also have Color Proof coming up on December 14th. So lots more live education work and so on. Everybody have great holidays. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you guys.